It's called How Drake Will Lose the Lawsuit with New Information, right?
As we inch closer to Kendrick Lamar's historic Super Bowl performance, the behind-the-scenes drama between him and Drake is only getting more intense. It's clear that everything Drake is doing with this lawsuit boils down to one goal: stopping Kendrick from performing Not Like Us at the Bowl. Insider reports suggest Drake is absolutely freaking out at the thought of Not Like Us being sung by one of the biggest audiences in the world, and to be fair, watching 100,000 people belt out the song that derailed your career is a tough pill to swallow. But Drizzy has to remember how we got here. Drake's ongoing battles with his label and pretty much everyone else show he's bitten off way more than he can chew. Fighting on multiple fronts isn't the kind of move you'd expect at this stage of his career, yet here we are. Some diehard fans initially...
Drake did kind of bring this on himself when you think about it. Starting the whole 20v1, you know what I'm saying? Everybody against me.
Actually thought this lawsuit would spark a domino effect to get Drake back in the spotlight, but unfortunately for them, it hasn't done a damn thing. In fact, UMG is fired up and ready to fight this case to the bitter end. In a shocking twist, the label just fired back with a 144-page countersuit to Drake's 81-page lawsuit. Yeah, you heard that right. UMG just brought a shotgun to a knife fight. And trust us, the details in this document are so wild, you'll wonder how it even got to this point.
Okay, let's hear it.
Not only was UMG's move unexpected, it was downright unprecedented. It's a bold statement that there's no coming back for Drake after this. Filing the lawsuit was the final straw, and any chance of reconciliation with the label is now dead in the water. With the way things are unfolding, this defamation suit could end up being far more disastrous for Drake than anyone anticipated. The situation is escalating way beyond anyone's imagination. When Drake first filed the petition a few months ago, many assumed it was just a knee-jerk reaction to the trolling. But when it became clear he wasn't bluffing, the culture's respect for him took a massive hit, and rightfully so. Taking a rap beef from the studio to the courtroom, that's not what anyone expected.
Yeah, that's not hip-hop, bro. I feel like even the way it goes these days is like striking videos, or in Drake's situation, bringing up lawsuits. Like, shit is corny now.
The fact that Drake went there shows just how out of touch he is with the culture that made him who he is. No wonder so many people see this move as anti-hip-hop, and to be fair, it really is, in my opinion.
Me too.
A lot of folks have been wondering why Drake didn't just sue Kendrick directly, especially since the lawsuit surrounds Not Like Us.
I know why.
Well, you gotta know that Drake not suing Kendrick directly was deliberate. One of Drake's main intentions was to force a sit-down with the higher-ups at UMG, the real power players. But instead of panicking and giving him what he wanted, UMG clapped back hard in the most unexpected fashion. This 140-plus page response is their way of showing just how confident they are in winning this case, and how determined they are to beat Drake publicly. If you've not been keeping up with this drama, the details of UMG's counterclaim will blow your mind. Not only are they painting Drake as a sore loser, but they've gone all out to prove that his allegations are nothing more than fabricated lies.
Stop the video. If you would, just consider following me on Instagram and Spotify. I got a goal. I'm trying to get to 2,000 monthly listeners, and after that, I'm trying to get to 5,000 monthly listeners. Y'all have been great, man. I really appreciate y'all. All right, back to the video.
UMG is accusing Drake of pushing a false narrative to portray himself as a victim, even though he's the one who started all this in the first place. And to be fair, they've got a point. Drake was the one who set off the chain of events that ultimately blew up his career. What's even more shocking is his decision to weaponize the courts to save his reputation at the expense of the very label that built it. Trying to get everyone to buy into a lie is no easy task, especially when you're no longer in a position where people believe every word you say. And yet, that's exactly what Drake seems to be doing with this defamation suit filed out of Texas. The fact that he's using his recently established Texas residency as a key part of this case shows just how far he's willing to go. It feels like this lawsuit has been in the works for a while, waiting for the right moment to strike. But that moment never came, because Drake didn't anticipate Kendrick crushing him the way he did. Now, he's painting a picture for the judge of a humble family man, bullied and defamed by another artist's lyrics. Drake's done some pretty questionable things in the past, but this is a whole new level of manipulation. Drake probably thought filing this case in Texas was a genius move that would tip the scales in his favor. but he
Why?
clearly underestimated UMG's ability to counter that advantage he thought he had. The label's legal team has reportedly found a loophole in the Texas Citizens Participation Act, and they're ready to use Drake's own strategy against him. Filing the lawsuit in familiar territories is turning out to be a terrible move for Drake. UMG is now giving him one last chance to voluntarily dismiss this lawsuit, or they'll hit him with a filing that claims he violated the very act he's relying on to sue them. Drake and his legal team surely didn't see this move coming.
So I'm confused a little bit. So they're saying that UMG is going to countersue for defamation. And I don't know how anybody is being defamed, but I'm just saying, who's defaming who? If the truth is that y'all do this, which there's so much evidence to prove that they do this, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Honestly, let me know what y'all think in the comments, because I truly am trying to figure this out right now.
Volumes. They're likely scrambling to find an angle to counter UMG's claims. When the label said they'd fight this case with everything they've got, they weren't bluffing. Their approach has been relentless, and they seem to have accounted for every possible argument Drake could make. Despite this, Drake has yet to dismiss the case. He's still clinging to the victim narrative, even as UMG systematically dismantles his claims piece by piece. Anyone expecting anything other than a UMG win at this point is either naive or completely out of the loop. Drake really thought he had the upper hand by bringing this case to Texas. What he didn't realize was that UMG was more than prepared. They've now submitted a mountain of documents to dismantle every one of his claims. According to insider reports, these documents are packed with factual details that could deal a serious blow to Drake's case.
Okay.
It is looking like it could be the ultimate game changer for the label. UMG's portrayal of Drake's twisted character and manipulative tendencies in their legal documents is nothing short of brutal. They argue that a lawsuit like this could set a dangerous precedent in the music industry because Drake is essentially trying to stifle artistic freedom just because he's on the receiving end this time. And let's be real, UMG's got a point once again. Drake never had a problem dishing out nasty words in his own songs, but the moment someone claps back and gives him a taste of his own medicine, he's spiraling out of control.
Yeah, that's lame. That's not hip hop, like we already said. That's not a part of our culture. So, you know what I'm saying? They not like us.
UMG also highlighted the glaring lack of evidence behind Drake's claims that they artificially pushed Not Like Us to damage his reputation. If Drake can't provide concrete proof, the label is pushing for dismissal, and honestly, it's not really a surprise now, is it? How exactly is Drake supposed to prove that Not Like Us wasn't an organic hit? Everyone remembers how massive the song was when it dropped. It swept across the internet like wildfire. The Not Like Us wave was as real as it gets, and yet Drake seems to be the only one in denial. UMG's legal team isn't holding back. They made it a point to paint Drake as a sore loser who couldn't handle losing a fight he initiated. And let's face it, that's exactly what went down. People are still struggling to understand Drake's logic, especially the part where he labeled Not Like Us as defamatory.
Was this the plan the whole time, I wonder? Was like, ooh, I'm going to be the first rapper to bring up a lawsuit after a diss, because it did seem calculated as hell.
If Drake truly believes the song hurt him the way he claims, then what should Kendrick say about the shots Drake fired on Family Matters and other diss tracks?
Exactly.
Would it be fair game if Kendrick had filed a lawsuit too? And the fact that Drake can't even accept Not Like Us as an organic hit says a lot about where his head's at. Fans and industry insiders loved how UMG called out Drake's hypocrisy. They reminded him that many of his own tracks effortlessly hit the billion stream mark within months.
But it's so obvious to me that these are boosted as songs. Or we've seen situations in the past where Drake is added to every playlist on Spotify.
Just like Not Like Us did. Funny how he never accused the label of artificial farming back then. But when a label mate achieves similar success, Drake runs to the courts with lawsuits and accusations. It's clear UMG is out to make an example of him. They're hitting him from every angle, not just painting him as a hypocrite, but as a bad loser who simply can't wrap his head around how he lost in one of the most watched rap beefs ever. What's even more telling is how everyone seems to be siding with UMG on this. It's rare for a record label to receive this much public support when they're called out by an artist. And let's not forget, artists rarely win cases against labels, even when they're in the right. Now imagine Drake,
this is
who
very
is not even
rare.
close to being in the right. What chance of winning does he have? The same label that once funded his ability to control narratives is now using those vast resources to brand him as a manipulative liar. Talk about tables turning.
Oh God.
Drake's decision to file this lawsuit is looking more foolish by the day.
That
He
weak
probably
ass rap.
thought he could outsmart the system and come out on top, but the way things are shaping up, he's left with two options: withdraw the lawsuit and deal with the shame that comes with it, or hope he has a game-changing move UMG won't see coming. This lawsuit feels like Drake's last-ditch effort, and if UMG humiliates him the way they're planning, it could be a massive blow to his legacy as a whole. He needs to tread carefully. Bad PR from a label as powerful as UMG can be devastating, even for someone like Drake. He can never underestimate an entity with such massive influence. They could wreck his reputation just as easily as they built it. The fact that UMG's lawyers countered with a violation of the freedom of expression under the Texas Citizens Act shows just how heated this battle is becoming. Drake has never faced a situation like this in his career, and if he doesn't slow down to grasp the gravity of making an enemy out of UMG, he could end up burning a bridge he'll regret forever. This is not an ideal situation for Drake to be in, and things could get ugly real fast. Losing a rap beef is one thing, but losing the respect of his fans? Well, that's a whole new level of damage. Drake could have taken the L, regrouped, and come back stronger. Instead, he's risking being remembered as the rapper who ran to the courts because his ego couldn't take the loss.
Yeah, he the first one to
This
do that.
is unfortunately Drake's reality right now, and it's not looking good. As this lawsuit intensifies, UMG will undoubtedly escalate its efforts to smear his image. It will get to a point where the actual reason for the lawsuit won't even matter anymore. People will just see Drake as the villain, and if he loses the case after all this drama, that could be the end of his credibility. You've got to hand it to him, though, in some aspect, because his persistence is rather impressive. It's clear he wants to see this through, but let's be honest, does he even have a chance of winning?
I
Well,
don't
so
think
far
so.
the odds are stacked against him. It doesn't look like he stands a chance. While Drake has been known to pull off surprises, this time it seems unlikely. It's also becoming clear that Drake either doesn't care about the narrative swirling online or is doing a good job pretending not to. Either way, staying on this path is a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, they say that Drake not phased by any of this, but I don't believe it. I don't think that he would have sued if he wasn't phased or whatever. But I know Drake for sure just started his Australian tour, and so he's doing a good job of pretending like he don't care. Truthfully and honestly, he is. But somebody need to tell Drake slow down with all this bullshit, because there's no way that he wins this lawsuit, especially when we know for a fact that the same thing they did for Kendrick, they've been doing for him for years. Like, I don't even feel bad for Drake. You know what I mean? You just lost this. Yeah, I don't know, bro. But that'll do it for this video, man. If y'all want to continue this video or watch the full video, there's like a minute left. It's called How Drake Will Lose the Lawsuit with New Information, and I'll leave a link in the description. But until next time, man, go ahead and leave a like on my video before you get up out of here. And follow me on Instagram, follow me on Spotify, man. And again, thank you guys for 1,000 subs.